Alright, we're back on gaming, man. And let me say this now. I'm really not in the mood to do this due to the fact that I'm really pissed off, but it needs to be done, and let's get this straight. I want to make this very well known, alright? Me being pissed off isn't all about the community and what's going on in the internet. Some of it was at work. I gotta go back to work to go handle some real shit, you know what I mean? But part of it is work, part of it is this community. Now, as you know, last week, I didn't do a video, and I took off. I told some of you that I was taking off this week, I said this last week. I was taking off last week, that, I just got tired of stupidity. I got tired of it. I thought that maybe this week, that things would get better. Because I just didn't want to deal with that, you know what I mean? Like, every week we do this, for years upon years, and nobody is learning from the situations, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking to myself, maybe this week, it'll be a little bit lighter. But actually, it got worse. So it's like, okay, now I really got to get into this. Now, as a community, you know, we've been doing this for years, and we've had this talk where we have to look out for each other. As a community, you got to say, okay, you got to watch out for the media who's trying to hustle you with this. You got to watch out for the gaming industry who's trying to hustle you with this. Then you have to watch out for the other members who have just slithered into this community and trying to persuade you to do some things that will probably be worse. I mean, hell, we just saw, this week, some YouTubers got caught, running an illegal gambling site for FIFA. So, yeah, there's always some snake in the grass who is trying to get your money, trying to scam you for something. Always. You know what I mean? And we're not even going to talk on that. I'd rather talk about that next week because there's so much news that I had this week that I couldn't even talk about. We got to carry it over to next week. That's right. So, Jesus Christ. I'm just saying, there's just so much going on. And as a community, we're always going to have our difference of opinions, which is fine. All right, because we're our own individuals. But we should listen to each other and hear each other out at times until someone says something completely fucking stupid to where a point where it's like, no, you shouldn't even be in this community. I mean, we just saw not too long ago, we saw YouTubers threatening, reviewers over Resident Evil 7. So yeah, I don't want to hear it. I really don't. Like I said, there's a line you just don't fucking cross. But we need to talk first about the industry and how it tried to game on you poor people who really believed. And sometimes I don't know whether you're just being fanboys or fangirls, it's nostalgia, or you're just really naive. I don't understand. And it's not all of you I'm talking about, of course, but there are some who I need to address. So for those who decided to support Psychonauts 2, let's have this talk, shall we? Starbreeze Publishing signs Psychonauts 2 and will be a major investor. They have just given Tim Schafer over $8 million for Psychonauts 2. Yeah. So, let me get it straight. All the fans that believed in Tim Schafer after what he's done before and just blown money before, you gave him the money because you really believed that Psychonauts 2 would be a thing and you would be okay, and Tim Schafer has learned his fucking lesson with his little puppet tricks and everything. Obviously he hasn't, but then he goes and signs, because mind you, this was all about, him being, independent because, publishers out there that aren't giving that type of money anymore. So he wanted to lean on you fans to get that type of money so that he can do what he wanted to do. Not to mention all the pictures of throwing the cash up in the air and everything like that. We're not going to forget these things, okay, Tim Schafer? But, you have to understand that, once again, what he wanted to do with the money and be independent and not have to worry about publishers, and then you go and you sign to a fucking publisher anyway. Okay. And when we're talking percentages, I don't want to, I play like this. I'm not going to get into heavy detail with it because Gaming Anarchist has already done a video on this, apparently earlier today. And what I'll do is I'll put his video in the info bar. He goes into the money aspect of everything and the market share and everything. This is just disgusting. It just is. Alright? Tim Schafer is obviously being a greedy little prick. That's what he's being. And using your nostalgia to make sure that he gets that money. And the fact that, if you think about the market and the people that are going to be buying this game, if they've already donated, 9 times out of 10, they've already donated to it, alright? So they're going to get something. The publisher's not going to really see much money out of this. He's just taking money upon taking money. He's hustling everyone around the board. He hustled you to get your money due to the fact that he was hoping that he played on your little nostalgia strings. Now he's hustling the publishing. Like, there's just so much to this. It just is. It's disgusting to watch. It is. But speaking of developers who lie, and that's what I want to talk about right now. Developers who lie. Because last week, I want to rewind, and we talked about Tekken 7. Alright? And when I'm looking in the comment section, I'm seeing people getting very upset with me, saying I don't know how marketing works, blah, 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 which they were completely wrong because they obviously didn't see anything. Now, look, I put it like this. We will start with the discussion that Harada has said that, well, the reason why we're doing the season pass and all this stuff is because we need more development time. There's things that we wanted to do, and to keep it on the up and up and the upkeep of, maintenance and stuff like that, and we're just going to give you more content. Now, mind you, I showed you last week that they were like, oh, yeah, this is going to be the most full content, jam-packed game that you've seen in a long time. We're learning our lesson from Street Fighter. Actually, all the lessons you learn is just how to milk players, right? But some of you really believe that Harada is doing everyone right. And this is, that was his excuse for the season pass. Because we're going to go by his word, right? Okay. Now, let me say that I do not go by his word. You want to know why? Because when you're being lied to, that's it, as far as I'm concerned. And you talk to a big fan of Tekken, but I don't know Harada personally to take his word and be like, yeah, I trust that guy. I trust him. So I'll put it like this. If we're going by words on things that happen, all right, because reason why he said this is going to be a season pass and all this, I feel it's blowing smoke up your ass. Some of you believe that it's true. Hey, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. That's what you believe. But if we're going to go by words, then we got to also go by this word, or what Harada said before. Now, as you can see, Harada says that he would quit before having you fans have to pay for DLC, right? If that was the option, if that's what Namco or Bamco decided to try to do, he would quit because he's for the, he's for the gamers and he's for making his community better than, than what they're being milked, right? That's what he's saying. Okay, let's go back to that pre-order picture about Eliza real quick. Do you see that? You probably don't because it's in the fine print. Let's take a look closer about Eliza. So Harada, when can we expect that resignation to be coming? Since we're going by your word, right? Like I said, I'm a big fan of Tekken, all right? But I don't know this guy. And like I said, when the hustle is there, the hustle is there. Now, if he just came straight out and said, look, this is out of my hands, I can't do anything about it because the publisher is doing this. They're trying to get you, but then he would be throwing the publisher under the bus, right? Can't do that. Can't mess up the politics. So then you come up and you say that I would rather quit than this to happen. So which one is it? I don't want to hear any more excuses. I don't. Like I said, if you believe Harada and the reasons on why this season pass is going to happen and that you have to pay for it, if you believe that, that is on you. Okay? But as far as I'm concerned, after seeing this, no, I don't believe him. I don't. And it doesn't matter if I know him or not. When you're being lied to, you're being lied to. It's that simple. I know it's kind of hard for people due to the fact that they can be such fans of products and they don't want to believe certain things. I understand that, okay? But this is clearly what it is. Pre-order for the incentive and then pay DLC. Which he said would not come or he would quit. Period. Period. If it ever happened. Remember that. If it ever happened. And here it is. Now, there's more Tekken news. This may make some people upset. Depending on depending on the people who've bought, pre-ordered it already, or if you're planning on buying it. Here's something. Tekken 7 requires a 42 gig, that's right, 42 gigs of space for the PS4. 42 gigs. 42 gigs. Okay, look, we've seen the game in the arcade part. It's gorgeous. And some of you even said last week that, that they're charging players over in Japan monthly? Over there? Yeah, for this game. Yeah. This is not the way to go about. For updates, I believe. That's what you were saying in the comment section. That's uncalled for. So it's not just us in the West getting season passes or getting hit with all this stuff and in the line. But then you guys and girls are telling me in the comment section that people in Japan are being hit with monthly, pretty much a monthly rate for this. That's crazy. That's beyond. Like I said, as a community, you have to understand our community doesn't just stop because, we're in the West. Forget what they're thinking, forget what's going on in the East. That's not how it works. Not at all. Our community is our community. That's simple. We look out for each other, no matter what part of the world you're in. Alright? But, let's move on to more fighting game news. Street Fighter V. Need to talk about this real quick. Because there's a lot of fuckery that's been going on this week, and just beyond me, and we're going to get into it. We need to get into it, okay? Street Fighter V, the sales. We need to talk about this real quick. For those who don't know, there's an article not too long ago that said that Street Fighter 5 sales have ground to a halt, meaning they're not getting any money out of this anymore. They sold maybe 100,000 copies, if that, within that time. Now here's the thing. Did a little research, because I want to go back. We're going to go all the way back, that's right, on how much the media has told us this was coming, okay? When you look at the numbers, you can't just look up any write-up and be like, oh, that's just bullshit, you know what I mean? Because you can pass that off, you know what I mean? That's just one person's opinion. But the numbers don't lie. They just don't. So, let's start with May 9th of 2016. The sales are below expectations, and Capcom plans a full-scale offensive. That was in May of last year, because the sales were coming to a halt, okay? May of last year. Now, understand that, of course, Capcom was still under fire at the time due to the fact that people wanted story mode and all that. They're waiting for things. Capcom gave them a half-assed product, and people were very upset about it, while others defended Capcom. So, as you can see, their full-scale offensive, they knew what they were up against, okay? Once they decided to start fucking up. That's one. Full-scale offensive. Now, let's fast forward to October 28th of 2016, okay? Street Fighter V sales grind to a halt. Community calls for revamp. That's right, that was in October. And you've seen, if you've been keeping up with these videos, because we've been talking about it since it's been out, alright? Exactly what's been going on with pro players, how pro players have blasted this game, how they don't know if Capcom wants to cater to casuals, or if they want to cater to the pro circuit, because of the pro tour, right? They want to, bridge the gap with Season 1, but then Season 2, people who played, as we heard, from before, people who practiced and played all year with with those characters, now you've pretty much thrown them under the bus in Season 2. We've talked about this, because Capcom doesn't know what they want to do, right? Now, fast forward to February 1st, Street Fighter V sales appear to have ground to a halt again. This game is dead in the water. It's dead. I don't care what Capcom has promised you when it comes to 2017 is going to be our year. Just wait and see the surprises we have. Remember, because they said they would, that's what they were going to do. And anybody who said it would be differently would be called a bunch of haters. And then here comes Markman and cheerlead. Right? We've seen that. Okay. Given the numbers, given the number of pro players who are carrying this game, because let's be honest here, without those pro players, because they're fucking piggybacking it. I mean, seriously, they put the game on their back and they're running with it. It's done. Without them, it's over. And if they're complaining, there's a problem. Not to mention Marvel vs. Capcom that's getting ready to come up on the rise. Those players are going to run right back to it. They're not worried about Street Fighter V. Understand what's going on here, guys and girls. Please, please, please understand. When you look at the numbers and you see it, it's a dead duck. It is. I will put all the links to those in the info bar so that you can see yourself that this is not just me just spouting off bullshit. No, I'm going to put the links in the info bar so you can read it for yourself, okay? Just letting you know that. Let's move on, shall we? Because we're going to talk about people who like to spout bullshit. We shall talk about a one Lupe. That's right, Senpai Lupe! That's right. For those who don't know, alright, because this is about as disgusting as it gets. Lupe is going to, apparently at there's going to be an album release party for his new song. He's going to debut character DLC from Street Fighter V. So if anyone, and I have to say this before I even get on Lupe, alright, because we already know what he's about, alright? I gotta talk about Capcom. Capcom, you have gone back on your word so much, like I said, you can't be trusted. I mean, just not too long ago, we saw the rules that were being in effect for Pro Tour, and about behavior and code of conduct. Yet, you still, after all this, bring this guy back after everything he has said about the community, about the media, because mind you, when the media was kissing his ass, and I believe there's still places like PvP Live still kissing his ass after he told everybody how horrible they are, still kissing his ass. You have to understand, all right, Capcom, that everything that you set in motion to make things more adult and have people that should be accountable for their actions, which we will talk about soon, okay? You're going to sit here and tell me that you're going to team with Lupe in this fashion. That's what you're going to do after everything that's happened. And then the thing about it is, fight game fans, maybe there's some of you that are children that don't know how this hustle is, because this is such bare bones hustle, okay? For those who don't know, anybody who's ever, who've been adulting, you go to clubs and everything, you see these type of ads all the time. Hell, you can probably find them stapled up on your telephone pole, outside. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm saying in comparison. You saw the Lupe one, right? All right, let's look at a couple club ads real quick. This is pathetic as shit. You can't tell me this is the best promotion you can go with. and try and get people. Look, I understand there's people who will say, you know what, we're probably just going to tune in anyway just to see that DLC character revealed. First off, we've already seen sights of it leaking, and now they're trying to hype up the situation that's going on, because did you see all the people that's going to be there? Did you see there? So I'm wondering if this happens, all right? Why aren't you playing Daigo again? Why isn't there a run back for that? Lupe? Why isn't there a run back? Because he's going to be there? Yeah, that's what I thought. Like I said, we know how this is going to go. There's no point. There really isn't. They're really trying to sell this, like almost like it's a club thing. Like, yeah, we're going to have these people playing, these fighters playing. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Capcom, you fucked up by making this deal with Lupe still. You did. And I say, and we all know who got him started with that. Yeah, thanks on that one. But the fact is, you should know by now, especially with the thuggery and all that type of stuff, the mock. Come on, man. We know what this dude is about. And the fact that you're still trying to keep him in the limelight with this and make this deal, it tells everybody, it sends the bad message that you're rewarding ignorance. That's what it sends. And of course, if you want the fighting game community to clean itself up, you know what's going to happen? It's not going to happen as long as examples like this keep happening. You understand it, right? But then again, like I said, when you look at the people on staff at Capcom, when they're calling you a bunch of haters and everything, it seems like there is a lot of childish activity going around as of late. Matter of fact, you know what? I guess we should start with that right now. Let's talk about Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, shall we? Let's talk about people who are going to be upset if Magneto's Repulsion is banned from Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So let me get this straight, alright? Filipino Champ, when he's gone off on people, alright, in the middle of a game, taunting them, yelling, being all animated, pushing people and carrying on, chest bumping and everything. We've seen this too many times from this person acting like a fucking idiot in the middle of a game. But if if the Repulsion is banned, then you're going to be mad. That's where you draw the line? That's where you draw the line. Not the fact that he acts like a fucking idiot. He should be banned completely, alright? But, if the Repulsion is banned, then I'm going to be mad. Put them all on the fucking short bus as far as I'm concerned. I cannot deal with this shit anymore. This is what you call, I said, grown men acting like a bunch of fucking children. Alright? That's what this is. Well, if this is banned, I'm going to be mad. Who gives a fuck if you're mad? But it's okay for him to pretty much bully a person while he's playing. I'm not trying to hear that's mind games. I'm not trying. No, that's not fucking mind games. Alright? That's just being a fucking idiot. That's what it is. And y'all know, exactly like I know, that if you tried this outside of your little bubble, people would fuck you up. See? This is the shit I'm talking about. This is the type of behavior I'm talking about. You're going to tell me you can't play a video game, without acting like a fucking idiot? You can't do that? I got my fans to impress. I got to do this, I got to do that. It tells me if you have to act that way, okay, during playing a video game, then, number one, no one gives a shit about your play, number one. Number two, you're fake as fuck if you want to keep talking about this villain role shit. We need to make it like wrestling. And if you say that, I'm going to say, oh, so all the matches are predetermined. Okay, collusion. No. We just mean the way they act. Oh, so you want to take bits and pieces of things, into good parts of things, and put them into yourself, but not want to have any of the backlash for it. I've noticed that a lot as of late. We've been talking about that for the last 5 years when it comes to FGC. When the FGC does something good, it's, hey, man, we all made it. We all good. It's all gravy. When someone does something bad, nah, man, that's just the individual. That's not all of us. You got to take the bad with the good. You know how this works. It's called responsibility. But when I talk about responsibility, nobody wants to talk about that. You know what? Let's talk about responsibility. Let's talk about more people acting like fucking idiots, okay? Because for those who don't know, when it comes to Marvel, right? When it comes to Marvel, you know what's going on right now? They're trying to bag on the fucking Super Bowl so that you, because that's what happened during the Super Bowl, so that you would watch Marvel. That's right. Let's look at this real quick. And this is where the stupidity gets worse. I mean, worse and worse. And we definitely want to talk about this, all right? First off, let me say now, I don't have a problem with anyone offering an alternative. So if you don't like football, and they say, hey, look, you don't like football, but you like fighting games or video games or whatever, why don't you come check out this stream, you know what I mean, support some guys playing. That sounds good, right? So no one would have a problem with that. But no, you had to act like a fucking child, didn't you? You had to go out and make claims that aren't true. Hate football? Well, guess what? Why don't you come and see our game because it's going to be better than the Super Bowl. You claim it's going to be better than the fucking Super Bowl. Then you said it's less predictable. Really? I guess you really didn't watch the fucking Super Bowl, because that was one of the best comebacks we've ever seen in a Super Bowl, being 25 points down. But less predictable, huh? Overtime in Super Bowl, less predictable, huh? Matter of fact, since you make these claims about being better than the Super Bowl, I am tempted to see the ratings that you got for your Marvel event. I would love to see that, because guess what? These were the ratings for the Super Bowl. Damn! 111.3 million viewers. 111.3 million, okay? I'm wondering, did your little shitty Marvel event do that? And yeah, I call it shitty at this point, not because I hate Marvel, but the fact is, when you act like this, guess what? You're going to get back what you put in. So that's exactly how I'm going to talk to you, alright? You want to act like a fucking child? I'm going to treat you like a fucking child at this point. To make claims like that, I need to see your numbers, bruh. Because I guarantee you didn't do 1% of what the fucking Super Bowl did. No matter if you put all those top FGC players up there, they still wouldn't have been able to top the Super Bowl. And you want to say it was going to be better and less predictable. We can actually make an argument about the top guys always being on top. We can make that argument, couldn't we? We could talk about, because we've talked about it in the past. In general, the FGC talks about it, how the pools, sometimes they're catered to certain players, but you want to talk about how it's less predictable, huh? Okay, you know what? Let's move on to the idiots who really believe, that's right, who really believe this type of stuff. Just stop. Just stop while you're ahead. To FGC fans not watching the Super Bowl, they're not watching it. You compare two players to the two teams that are in the Super Bowl. Now here's the thing, because I have to use logic here. If they're not watching the Super Bowl, how would they know who's in the Super Bowl? Unless the advertising for the Super Bowl was super effective. Unlike your advertising where, hey, why don't you come watch it because it's better than the Super Bowl? Like I said, once again, the promotion for things, so damn basic, so bare bones, it's pathetic. But to compare them to players, bruh, you tried so hard and you failed completely. Because these people, because mind you, the initial tweet is, if you hate football, then guess what? The people who hate football, they probably don't know the teams because they don't watch football. So for you to compare them to two teams, people are going to be like, well, what is that supposed to mean? Their play style? How are they comparable to the Atlanta Falcons? How are they comparable to the Patriots? It's absolutely ridiculous. You failed on multiple levels, son. Let's move on to the next one. Fighting game events over the Super Bowl any day. Guess who doesn't have friends? I'll put it like this. Even if you don't watch the Super Bowl, alright, and one of your friends calls you up and say, hey, I'm having a Super Bowl party, guess what? You're going to go, even if you don't watch football. You want to know why? Because the drinks, the food, the camaraderie, hey, you may meet a guy or a girl or two over there, that you may like. People go to events, or even just Super Bowl parties, simply because their friends are there. They don't give a shit about the football game. When you have when your house is packed with people, guess what? Maybe every once in a while, touchdown, whatever. People, what's going on? It doesn't matter. Everyone's talking. Everyone's having a good time. Everyone is actually enjoying reality. You gonna tell me you got to a point where you were like, Super Bowl? Nah, fam, I'm not coming to your Super Bowl party. I'm gonna sit here at home by myself and sit on the computer and watch Marvel, baby. That's what you did. That's what you did. And like I said, you weren't invited to a Super Bowl party, no friends. But this is pathetic. Fighting games over a Super Bowl any day. It's okay to have an opinion. If you don't like the Super Bowl or football, that's fine. Like I said. But it is about the way you go, about selling things. Like I said, very unprofessional, very immature. But I think this one is going to take the cake. So fuck the Super Bowl, huh? Fuck the Super Bowl. No matter the fact that you cannot even compare to the numbers of Super Bowl, but fuck the Super Bowl. Okay, let's get something straight here, alright? For you guys that are doing this, and you want to be esports, mind you, sports, so you're taking from sports. People who are being sponsored are ex-football players, ex-basketball players, sports teams getting your esports going on right now, aren't they? Sports. From a professional standpoint, why the fuck would you disrespect the sports that are helping you? I'm just wondering. This has to be the dumbest fucking move I've seen in a very long time. It doesn't matter if you like football, alright? But you should respect the sport because guess what? They laid the groundwork to where you're at today. And I mean that from an entertainment standpoint. It means that when you guys are sitting there, oh my God, we getting Marvel, we getting this. Like I said, I'm going to keep asking, all right, how your contracts look. You getting health benefits? What's good? What's good? What's really good? How's your players association? What's good? Like I said, all these happen in real sports. You think that you would model after real sports and learn from this. But instead, nah, fuck the Super Bowl. We gonna be better because Marvel. This is the dumb shit that you want. They said, you're a bunch of fucking children and you don't know how to act. So you burn bridges. Fuck Marvel. Fuck Marvel. That's how I see it at this point. And I only say that simply because of the way they're acting. Like I said, you get back what you put in, and I put it like this. So if the Super Bowl, maybe I was being just a little too much for you guys when it came to the Super Bowl in their numbers, because you couldn't compare. But you know what? You couldn't compare to the Puppy Bowl numbers as well. That's right. Matter of fact, how is it for, I'm like this, I guarantee you, and I said on Twitter, that Lady Gaga's halftime show would get more numbers and pull more ratings than Marvel. And what happened? 50.2 million viewers between the ages of 18 and 49. And a lot of that is in your demographic. So you failed to pull a lot of the numbers in your own demographic. Marvel. You understand that? But here's the thing as well, all right? Maybe that's going too much. Maybe the views is just too much because national TV and all this stuff, it's just too much. So how about this? We'll bring it down to, back to their level. Because their advertising was all Twitter. So matter of fact, let's just talk about the numbers on Twitter compared to Marvel to Lady Gaga's halftime show.
Guys, what an amazing halftime show that was. I'm still recovering, but the numbers are rolling in. We were getting 41,000 tweets per minute using the word Gaga. On Facebook, 396,000 people per minute were talking when she took the stage about the halftime show. You guys are talking about the mic drop, talking about the roof jump, and of course you're talking about the drones. That was an amazing halftime show that I'm going to need some time to process. So get out of my face.
That's right. Get the fuck out of my face with this old bullshit. So you were beaten not on ratings, but on tweets and Facebook and everything else. And this is the type of advertising these idiots decide to do from Marvel. You've got to be kidding me. Do you know anything about business or professionalism? Nothing. No. But you think if you act this way, it's going to make you look cool. It's going to make you look hip. It's going to make you an edgelord. So then people will tune in. No. It's stupid. And it goes to show you that, once again, every time you act this way, people say, these motherfuckers just handicap themselves every time. Yeah, they do. They do. Because they don't know how to act. And of course, everyone wants to be respected as grown men, but no one wants to act like one, right? That's how it works. Unreal. Like I said, short bus for all of you. All of you, just pack it on the fucking short bus. And it's sad to say because, let's be honest here, the people who do have some type of handicap when it comes to short bus right now, they're a lot smarter than you. They're a lot more humbler than you. It's just, it's sad. It's absolutely sad. It's pretty pathetic. And this is what happens when people think that they're fucking stars, or you have these fanboys who hype shit up to the moon and think that it's okay. And they don't realize that the rest of us are looking on the outside and saying, if you're acting like a fanboy, that means you've taken the bait. That's what it means. It's one thing to be hyped because of a game, okay, and you like the game or whatever, but when you start making outlandish things like, this is the hypest it's ever going to be, or, it's going to be better than the Super Bowl, you need slapped upside the head. You do. There should be a designated person who sits there every time you decide to type some bullshit, and before you hit send, they're just like, fuck out of here with this. Change it. There needs to be. Everyone needs one at this point. Gotta be kidding me, man. But I would like to say that I do find it funny that not too long ago, we talked about Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, right? We talked about that. We talked about how, hey, it needs to be brought over, poured over. I mean, even if you don't want to HD it up, it needs to be brought over to other platforms so that people can play it, right? I wonder what happened as of late. Day late and a dollar short. I'm done, dude. I'm done. I'm going. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me that after all this, now all of a sudden they want to get promoted. People are saying, oh, it's because, new Marvel's getting ready to come out. Because, they're playing Tatsunoko vs. Capcom because of the 2-on-2 aspect, right? And I'm thinking to myself, well, why don't you just play old Marvel? Just play Marvel. No. I understand the 2-on-2 aspect, but y'all didn't give a shit about Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. So here's my thing, and don't get me wrong, there's a community for Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, which is why I, talked about it before. But for people playing it, you would think that there would be more of a demand. That's what it should be. A demand for, hey, we want another game. Or, hey, we want to HD this up. We need to port it over. That should be the demand, not, oh, we're only playing this because, Marvel. So what you're doing is, you're not giving Tatsunoko vs. Capcom its credit, really not, because the headliner is still Marvel. You're still only using it because of Marvel. So Marvel's getting the credit. Well, this is what we're playing to get ready for this game. Or how about you're playing this game because you like this game, and you hope that you see more of this game in the future? No? No. Okay, no. Going. Fucking going. Anyways, I want to move on to fighting game video of the week. Jesus Christ, I just... Anyways, I'm hoping that people remember this game. It's kind of funny. Would I say it needs a remake? Probably not. Probably not. It took a lot from other games, but it's hilarious to see it. For those who do not remember it, let's talk about Aggressors of Dark Combat.
You lose. One player wins. One player wins. One player wins.
El hombre más fuerte del mundo.
Jesus Christ, those times. I'm just, oh my God. I mean, let's be honest here, man. Those times, look, when you're seeing things, listen, you look at those characters, you're seeing some of those moves, you're saying, hey, man, we've seen these type of characters with better moves these days. Like I said, I think this game is one of those that we say, if you gave her better mechanics, it would be better. But it's so outdated that people have taken those type of characters and have improved them greatly by now. I don't think it's worth bringing back. However, it's still an old school game to play. It's fun, and it's still funny just to see some of those moves happen. It just is. But we should move on. A little bit of news, some good news actually, some good news because we got to get back into people trying to scam you, or just trying to make up bullshit to make the community look bad. All right. Let's talk about classic arcade games, since we're, talking about, classics anyway. They're making a comeback, apparently, in Springfield. So what I'll do is I'll put the link in the info bar for those who are interested. Like I said, support your local arcades, because this is what you want. Like I said, being stuck on a network, and not being able to do anything, that's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? Especially if it's, always online, and let's just say your online goes down. Well, then you're screwed, via storm or whatever. You're screwed. But hey, either way, this is a good way to, to pay back tribute, homage to, about people getting together and being social while playing video games. That was a thing back then, as opposed to going to tournaments these days, and people were like, I've never played anyone, next to each other. Oh, this game is faster than what it is online. Yeah, completely different. They've pretty much robbed you of that experience. But let's keep going, shall we? I want to talk about Resident Evil 7. Yeah. I don't know what the hell's going on with people as of late with Resident Evil 7. We talked about Resident Evil 7 last time, and I told you how I felt about it, but told you I didn't play the full games, and I wanted to know exactly how you guys and girls felt about the game. And you gave me quite some interesting insight on Resident Evil 7, and a lot of you said you weren't very happy with it. It's fun, VR is good, but at the end of the day, it's not as great as people are making it seem. Other people told me that they were taking the game back. They already made it, and they thought it was bad. So, either or. You know what I mean? That's how it comes down to. And I want to talk about Resident Evil 7 due to the fact that now that the media has gotten their clutches on Resident Evil 7, it's absolutely ridiculous what we're seeing right now. So apparently now that Resident Evil 7 is going to be compared to Donald Trump. So this is where we're going now, huh? This is where we're going. We're going to compare Resident Evil 7 to Trump and Brexit. Because for some reason, we got to bait. We got to find a reason to talk about these type of issues within video games. So now we're going to just compare them. Are you serious? Are you serious? Given Resident Evil and everything it has been through, all the political shit that Resident Evil has in it, and this is what you choose to talk about. Revelations, they actually had terrorists using bioweapons. But you're not talking about that. No, you're not. No. Oh my God. Like, I just. Come on. people to take you seriously. This bait bullshit. Come on. Resident Evil in general, we've seen it for a number of issues. I should say copies of games, depending on what they come out with. It's gotten to the point where they're using bioweapons. It is terrorism. It is. But no one's taking that leap on it. You know what I mean? I feel it's an interesting take, especially when it happened in Revelations. I was like, wow. It's one thing in 5 where it was like, okay, they're unleashing a virus here just to see how it's working, because it was almost like a testing ground, almost like. But the fact that in Revelations, they went full on and was like, no, we are terrorists pretty much, and we're going to unleash this unless. You know what I mean? And we saw it. It started happening. So as far as I'm concerned, how do you not take that stance and say, okay, now you have something legit here. Now you can say, you can compare something, to this political aspect. But for you to not have that in Resident Evil 7, really, and come out and be like, yep, this is compared to Trump and Brexit, that's fucking ridiculous. That is absolutely but it gets worse. It gets worse. Apparently Kotaku can't even do their own review of the fucking game, because as we know, Kotaku don't play games. So now what do? They do reviews watching other people's Let's Plays. So this is where we're at now? This is what's hot in the streets now? Is that it? Is this what the media does now? If this is how you got to get paid to do the least amount of work when it comes to reviewing a game? Don't play the game yourself. Review someone else playing the game. That's like me sitting next to somebody and watching them play it for an hour and be like, game is great. Yeah, you got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous, man. There's no way in hell you can sit here and tell me that that's okay. And this person got paid for this. They got paid for this. They got site time, site space for this. Oh my God. This is just, and I want to talk about this because no matter how you feel about Resident Evil, alright, whether you felt Resident Evil 7 was great, whether you felt it was bad, again, the numbers don't lie that Resident Evil 7 is not doing well. Now, as you look at the numbers of those, you have to also understand that, of course, they don't have any numbers for the Xbox because it was a PS4 exclusive. But even if you just look at the PS4, their numbers compared to the PS3 when they had Resident Evil 5 and 6, the numbers are still so far behind. They just are. And it's weird because I didn't like Resident Evil 5 or 6. I can go on for days about Resident Evil 5, how bad it was. However, the gaming mechanics for 5 was good. 6 was, alright, whatever. But I absolutely hated Resident Evil 5. I hated the story. I hated Chris punching balls. I hated almost damn near everything about 5. But the game mechanics were very well done. You know what I mean? So if you're playing with a friend, that's where it's going to be entertaining, as opposed to playing it by yourself, which is just, it feels like a chore. It just does. To me, I did not have any fun playing by myself. Play with a friend. Then it became fun because you can make your own jokes, you know what I mean? And that's how it went. But the fact is, the numbers are just not there. They're just not. And you got to think, of course, you're going to have this layover, especially you got to think it's going to drop in price. Maybe during certain seasons of holidays, it'll drop even lower. They're really having a hard time with this. And for what we've seen so far, Capcom is talking about, and it's a rumor. It's just a rumor. I don't want to entertain this too much yet, all right? Because we haven't seen anything that says, oh no, this is really going the way it is. But Capcom is thinking about leaving the rest of the gaming business and just focusing on VR. That's what we're hearing. And I don't believe that one bit due to the fact that we know that Marvel vs. Capcom, Infinite is around the corner. So it's almost like if they fail with Infinite, will they only go this route? We don't know. But I don't think they would due to the fact that they have too many IPs that they can throw at you. Monster Hunter they can throw at you. Devil May Cry they can throw at you. Like these games, would you really want to try them in VR? No, they're not. Those type of games aren't built for that type of thing, if you ask me. Resident Evil you can get away with because survival horror, first person, it's been done. But I wouldn't want to play Monster Hunter in first person. I mean, if I want to play something sort of like that, I'll just play Skyrim. If I want to play first person, like it's for me, it's I really don't. I can do without it. You know what I mean? So I really don't think that Capcom. There's a part of me that says Capcom really is that stupid to try it. Another part of me says Capcom would not do that. That would be suicide. It would be. But you never know. Let's move on, shall we? Talking about somewhat suicide, I guess. We need to talk about Overwatch. That's right. Overwatch director wants Sony and MS to ban input conversion devices on the console. So they want to ban mouse and keyboard on the console. Why would you do that? Gaming is all about options, right? I mean, it's all about options when it comes to mechanics and gameplay. Why would you do that? It would put console gamers playing against PC gamers at a severe disadvantage. Why shouldn't they be on the same level, no matter of console or PC? Or you say, well, if you want it, then you just play a PC. No, you can't play divide and conquer. At this point, if the community is for mouse and keyboard, then everyone should be, behind each other. It's that simple, all right? Because there's more news. Overwatch. Mouse and keyboard players are, and I'll put the link in the info bar, are destroying console players. You take mouse and keyboard away from PS4 players, and you know what it's going to do? It's going to make people leave, if they're going to play Overwatch, they're going to leave the PS4. That's what's going to happen. And they're going to go over to PC. That's what happen. You're playing divide and conquer. Why would you just do this over something with these options? That's crazy. I'm hoping that Sony, and I really just hope that they don't do this. Really. It's disgusting to see this. It really is. I don't know. But to ask that is just, and MS, you know what I mean? To ask that for the Xbox or whatever, that's ridiculous. Let them keep what they got. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you're playing on console, go ahead and use it. And you say, well, it's not fast enough, the sensitivity isn't fast enough. Well, then you need to talk to them about, development and what's going on with Overwatch on the console. You don't take away options. That's not the answer. Let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about more Overwatch, because not too long ago we talked about Overwatch pros being suspended for things that, for saying certain things, code of conduct, right? Well, once again, and we found out just not too long ago, people over South Korea, they were cheating. Remember, they were banned, they were being nuked, you know what I mean? Well, more South Korea news, okay? South Korea Overwatch pros suspended for having relationships with female fans. That's right. Players are being benched for 2 months for competitive play. 2 months. So here's the thing, all right? Number one rule, all right? If you're going to be this esports and pros, you don't go around with groupies. Do you not see what basketball players have a problem with these days? Do you not see how rappers have a problem these days? The Real Housewives of whatever, or Love and Hip Hop or whatever. Do you not see these things? When you get these chatty women, and it's not just women, I'm sure you can find guys who are just as chatty, all right? You find these groupies, and they act this way. Of course they're going to spill your information all over the internet. Of course they're going to say, that's my guy, that's my man, or that's my woman. You're going to have that. You're creating a situation you don't need. And apparently these players were going, and having relationships with these women, and information was spilled all over the internet with it. And then their sponsors were like, look, we can't have this because you represent us. And we don't want to be looked at that way. So until then, you're suspended. Code of conduct. That's right. So it goes to show you, and it wasn't just like I said, it's one fan here and no, it was multiple fans. Multiple fans. And they're finding out each other, oh, well, he's with you, well, he's with me. No, he's with me. And it caused a problem on the internet. To a point where they actually made up their own handle on Twitter and started posting all the chat logs. Jesus Christ. I don't get it, man. Look, any other time I would say I'm for this, hey, go get yours. You know what I mean? Go get yours. Whether man or woman, go get yours. But in this type of situation, when you do represent a company, and they do look at you like that, like I said, they're your sponsor and all these types of things, your team is relying on you, it does drag your team through the mud. It does acting that way. And I understand a lot of people can't understand. How would that be possible? How can you? No, it does. It's just like at work. If you go to your job, and then you're out on, then when you leave your 9 to 5 or whatever, and then you go out and start doing a bunch of drugs or go get arrested, guess what's going to happen? More than likely, you're not going to have a job to come back to because that you represent them. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. All right? Let's move on. In more news. Final Fantasy Dissidia is coming to the PS4. And I play like this. I haven't played Dissidia since the PSP. But I'm happy for this because then I can get back into Dissidia on a bigger console. Hey, I would not be a stranger or say I would be against doing this competitively. I would love to see this. So as far as I'm concerned, we'll see what happens in the future, but it has been confirmed that this is coming. So we shall see what happens. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, well, this person needs to be nerfed or this person needs to be... We'll see. We shall see. Now, in more news, we need to talk about Tales of Berseria. Now, of course, everyone's loving Tales of Berseria. That's not the problem, okay? No, game's solid. The DLC, on the other hand, is a problem. That's right. Because when you're charging for this type of stuff, whether it's costumes or whatever, all right, we're not talking actual content of the game, getting hardcore content to add on to your game. No, we're talking little frilly things here and there. When you are charging pretty much, you look at the totals, and it's almost the damn price of the game, there's a problem. Now, this situation is weird, and I say this due to the fact that there's people who are for, because mind you, what you're paying for are item packs and costume packs. That's all it is, okay? You think that this type of stuff, you would not do this. You would not hide behind a paywall. So, I have talked about this due to the fact that some of you had this huge argument in my mentions on Twitter about this. I was still tagged to it, you know what I mean? And I didn't get into it because I thought it was weird. And there were some that were for it, some were against it. I think there were times where people misread jokes and took it seriously, and it became this big fallout. It happens, okay? Because, like I said, it's Twitter. It's only 140 plus characters, whatever, and you know, it's kind of hard to gauge people at times. So I can understand that. However, some were completely against this, and there was those who were saying, "I'm for it because if it's anything like Dead or Alive, where you had these sexy costumes, I'll spend money on it, right?" And like I said, there were some sarcastic things here and there, and there were some jokes. You know what I mean? So, I can understand that. But if people are being very serious about, you know, well, I'll spend money on costume packs because virtual titties, I was reading at the time, because mind you, Super Bowl, I'm watching Super Bowl, so I'm glancing every once in a while, I'm reading like, what's going on? But whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, for as much money as the costume packs and item packs cost, instead of paying for virtual titties, you could take that money, go to the strip club, and get titties, real titties, put in your face. I'm just saying. You could. You could get real titties put in your face, real women grinding on you, as opposed to, well, virtual lingerie on fake character. I don't understand that. I don't at all. Like, seriously, if you're really hard up for titties and you can't get anyone there, go to the strip club. You say you get $30. $30 unless you're a day in a strip club. All right? $30 unless you get a private. It's a whole different story, probably. But, seriously, $1 here and there, you get what you want. You get what you want. I don't understand how anybody can just be like, I'm going to throw my money at virtual titties. I don't understand it. Like I said, not those who are making a joke about it. Those who are dead serious on it, I'm talking about. I don't understand that. So that conversation that happened on Twitter was really weird. Like I said, there's things that are lost in translation, and it got to name calling, and people are yelling at each other. It is what it is. I'm not judging either side due to the fact that, and I don't expect an apology either, because, like I said, it happened. Whatever. You know what I mean? I didn't jump in and be like, fuck you both, and no, didn't do all that. Hey, he had his opinion. This person had their opinion. Let it go. You know what I mean? Other people were like, untag me. I just let it go, because I didn't feel as though it was, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was surveying what was going on at the time when I watched Super Bowl. You know? Hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Let's move on, shall we? I really feel, but I personally am against that. You shouldn't be holding that type of stuff behind a paywall, especially since it's already done. And on top of it, you know what I mean? No. No. Like I said, virtual titties, real titties. I'm going with the real titties every time. Sorry, I'm going with the real titties every time. 100%, 101%, 110%. No matter the percentage, I'm going with it every time. I'm just saying. Anyways, I want to move on. Stardew Valley. This is some good news. That's right. Since we were just talking about consoles and stuff like that. Stardew Valley is getting a physical release on the PS4 and the Xbox One in April. April, dog. That's right. Anyways, in April. And as far as I'm concerned, this is a good move for both consoles, for both companies. You know, you get some people who, you know, become fans of it. I mean, some people really don't know what this title is about. So this will be a good introduction to them, and both companies, and the company makes more money off of this as well. So, like I said, one of those things I'm all for. You know what I mean? Also, in PS4 news, the update that's coming up will add external external hard drive support and custom wallpapers. So, PS4 has been out for how long, and you're just now getting this, as opposed to when the PS3 got it? Okay. Let's keep going. The Xbox One. Their build released for alpha, alpha ring users with automatic updates and improves achievement tracker. So, that's what we're highlighting now? Automatic updates and an achievement tracker? Improvement on your achievement tracker? Okay. Mm-hmm. That's what we got here. All right. That's not much, but okay. You know what I mean? I say that for both consoles. It's like, okay, I'm sure people will like, stop being entitled. No, think about it. The standards that we had in the last generation, all right, you think would have came right out the box, some of this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, for the things that you had there. Okay. All right. Let's move on. It's some really, really fucking funny news. All right? Conan, we need to talk about this. Conan Exiles, I know there's going to be a number of people who just can't, they may just get the game just for this, just to troll. Conan Exiles will have genital physics and an endowment slider. That's right. So cock and balls, and slide, make it as big as you want. I've seen what it looks like, and it's hilarious. And the developers have said that nudity was always supposed to be part of the game. So for everyone who's getting so triggered over this, which is kind of weird that people would, but they are, so phallic, the developers always had this in mind. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't be that big of a deal. However, here's even more funnier news on this. Conan Exiles developer wants to add a castration mechanic. This game, I swear to God, I swear, people are going to be playing this game. I wonder if it's going to be banned on Twitch. People are going to be playing this game, and this is all they're going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if it's nothing but tutorial on top of tutorial on top of tutorial on how to make big cock. I would not be surprised. Alright? People are going to take this and they're going to run with it. I'm telling you. And people are going to get so triggered. I know they are. Oh my God. Anyways, let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. Kojima, that's right. Kojima says that Death Stranding is for the PS4 and not the PS5. Alright, let's get into this. First off, PS5 confirmed. Alright. We kind of already knew that though, didn't we? Alright. Mid-cycle console. It's only a matter of time for PS5 comes around. But the reason that Kojima is saying this is because Death Stranding is taking so long to make. And they're comparing this to The Last Guardian, how long it took to make. It's going to be so long to make this game that it may not come out until the PS5. Kojima says that the game will come out for the PS4. Hopefully that it's still in favor at the time. You know what I mean? They'll still do it for the PS4. So we're going to see this again, where games were supposed to come out for certain consoles and then be pushed back to the newer consoles, so it can be a selling tactic. We saw that, did we not? We just saw it with the Wii U, some of their games being ported over to the Switch. We saw it with of course with Sony, like I said, with Last Guardian, which is kind of fucked up. They did that. There's so many people waiting for years for Last Guardian. But yeah, and now we're finding out that Last Guardian's having problems between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. So yeah, this is going to be something that it's going to take a very long time to make. I know people are hyped. But this is what they're telling you. This is going to take years upon years. So, just letting you know that. Okay? And with the way these mid-cycle consoles are going, God knows when you know what I mean, what version of PS4 or PS5 or 5 Pro, whatever we will see. But apparently, like I said, PS5 confirmed. And as we know, Death Stranding won't be out for a very long time. Okay? Let's move on, shall we? Kojima, as well, says that he won't make another horror game. Won't make another one. Because, and check this out, because he's scared. That's right, he's scared. He's scared to make horror games. And I think it has something to do also with the backlash with Konami, with PT. But he's scared to make horror games. And he doesn't like being in that situation, he says, because it makes him very scared. I don't think that should stop you from making horror games. I mean, like I said, you're talking to a horror fan anyway. So for me, if you can scare me, I'm going to have fun with that shit. You know what I mean? I mean, you watch it so much, it's like, let me see your take on trying to scare me. And then you can't scare me, it's like, okay, well, that didn't get me. But if you get me, it's like, oh, that's something, you know what I mean? That's something different. So, I think that's one of the mentalities of people who like horror games. We like to be scared if you can get us, you know what I mean? Not just jump scare, that's bullshit, you know what I mean? But to actually have a good atmosphere and actually have us thinking twice about things, you know what I mean? That's a completely different thing. That's a good thing. It's something that we haven't seen in a very long time, especially when it comes to video games. You know, so it'd be very interesting to see, you know, if Kojima could have really pulled it off. But as we know, Death Stranding isn't a horror game. It's an action-adventure game for what I hear. So, there's that. Also, let's move on, shall we? Last bit of news. GameStop. And this is weird, because GameStop employees expose shady business. Oh! And the article tries to make it seem as though GameStop employees did something that hasn't been done before. They talk about how, you know, they will purposely tell you that another game won't be in store because they want you to pre-order. They have certain things, they have certain quotas for. So, you know, you want to buy this card, you know, this monthly, your discount card and all that type of stuff. They have different quotas to, you know, to meet. So they'll tell you lies in order to get you to buy those things. Now, mind you, we have talked about this for years, all right? Because like I said, guys like myself, you know, while going through school, worked at these places, you know what I mean? Electronics Boutique at the time, you know what I mean? Like I said, we're talking about a time where you weren't allowed to wear sneakers and jeans and a polo shirt. No, you had to wear a button-down shirt, a tie, some slacks, and some shoes. You know what I mean? We're talking just to sell video games. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, that's how far back we go. And I've been telling you this for years on this is how things were done. Like I said, there's times where a district manager and, and a store manager would corner somebody and try to get them to buy a game. Literally corner them. And it's like, and they would lie to you. Like I said, I've told you a story about Legacy of Kain. You know what I mean? Is this good for my 5-year-old son to play? Yeah, it's fine. Buy Legacy of Kain. What? Legacy of Kain? That's not for kids. Like, it doesn't matter. The big thing has always been pre-order sales. Always. Pre-orders. Because they're guaranteed product. When you have a pre-order and you guarantee that product, that means that stock is coming in. And then those companies, the rest of the stores, and the company itself look and say, okay, this store is getting such and such guaranteed product, which means that we're going to have a higher success rate because it's guaranteed. Of course, you can always pull your pre-order when you want to, but it locks in that deal. And then when people come in that next day, that opening day, I should say, all right, that, release date, and they're like, hey, can I get the game? And you can have 5 extra copies, but you're like, no, we don't have any copies. Now you're being selective on who you give it to. This happens a lot in that type of business. Listen, we talked about it before. So for this article to make it seem like they've done something new, to me, I laughed at it when I read it. I was like, this is bullshit. We've done this before. You know what I mean? Like, this is nothing. Anyways, that's all the news I have. Oh my God, Conan Exiles. Yeah, can't wait. But as you can see, there's been a lot of stupidity this week, man. Between the media, between your own community members. That's what pisses me off the most, community members. The FGC has a lot of growing up to do. But we already knew that, right? It almost gets to a point where you have to ask yourself, is this ship worth saving? Should you just abandon it? Because literally, the guys that are at the helm of this, the people that you praise, are not using their brains. Or they're only using their brains to benefit themselves, which is to stay afloat and fuck the rest of the community. If you haven't realized that. For their own personal gain. Because, as we know, when that ship does crash and burn, guess what? When they move on, like I said, a lot of these people, they don't have anything to fall back on. Some of them do. Some of them do have careers. And that's why I would always say, like I said, all these tournaments we talked about before, all these tournaments before it happened, what did I say? They need to start doing a lot more tournaments that go with money towards, charities and scholarships. And then, eventually that started happening. And then what did I say in that one video? I was like, you're welcome. As a joke, I said, you're welcome. And FGC's like, what do you mean you're welcome? You didn't do that. How arrogant can you be about it? I was like, dude, it's a joke. It's a joke. You know what I mean? Because I saw it coming. That's how it should have been. Should have been like that a long time ago. So when I say these things to you, when you see these things, and I say this stuff to you, I'm thinking to myself, this should have been done years ago. This stuff should have been done a long time ago. How do you not be more professional when you want to be bigger? I don't understand that. If you're going to play the game, you got to play it the way it's played. You can't say, we're going to go by our rules and still do it our way. No. You tried that before with MLG, didn't you? And you didn't want to go by MLG's rules. And then MLG skyrocketed. And you were like, all right, now we want that. You had your chance. You're getting a second chance right now. So for every time that you keep saying, oh, look at the numbers of what we do, I'm always going to say, your numbers could have been bigger. So don't celebrate too much. But hey, like I said, media trying to get you. Developers trying to get you. Oh, Psychonauts too. Yeah. Media, developers, your own community members willing to sell you out. Simply because of behavior. Because like I said, when you see this type of thing, like I said, it's very unprofessional. And it hurts the community overall. Like I said, you can't sit and say, that's just a couple of them. No. You can't. You can't. If y'all all going to cheer together, then y'all all got to take that heat together as well. It's called being a community. It's called being part of a team. Seems like a lot of people still don't know about teamwork. But they want to be stars and have their own teams. Alright, anyways, I'm done for a day. I will talk to you later. Y'all be safe. Next week, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Like I said, a lot of news that didn't make this video. That will be in next week. Talk to you then. I'm out.